You walk into any gym, health food store, or scroll through fitness social media, and you'll see people talking about creatine like it's some kind of miracle powder. Some swear that it turned them into superhuman athletes overnight. Others claim it's dangerous and will destroy your kidneys. Meanwhile, you're just standing there wondering what the heck creatine even is and whether or not you should be taking it too. Today, I'll break down everything you need to know about creatine in simple terms. And by the end, you'll understand exactly what it does, why people take it, and which myths are complete nonsense, and what the actual science says about its benefits for both your muscles and your brain. Now, let's start with the basics. Creatine isn't some synthetic chemical cooked up in a laboratory by mad scientists. It's actually something that your body already makes naturally. Right now, as you're reading this, your body is producing creatine in your liver, your kidneys, and your pancreas. You also get creatine from eating meat and fish. So, if you've ever had a steak or a piece of salmon, congratulations, you've consumed creatine. Your muscles store this creatine and use it as a quick source of energy when you need to do something that requires a sudden burst of power, something like sprinting upstairs or lifting heavy weights. Think of creatine like a backup battery for your muscles. When your muscles need energy fast, they don't have time to go through the slow process of breaking down carbohydrates or fats. Instead, they reach for their stored creatine, which can be converted almost instantly into energy. This system works great for short, intensive activities that last about 10 seconds or less. After that, your muscles have to switch to other, slower energy systems. Here's where creatine supplementation comes in. Most people naturally store enough creatine in their muscles to fuel about 5 to 8 seconds of maximum effort. But what if you could increase those stores? What if you could have more backup batteries ready to go? Well, that's exactly what creatine supplements do. They help saturate your muscles with more creatine than you could get from food alone, giving you a larger energy reserve for those quick, powerful movements. The most common and well-researched form of creatine is called creatine monohydrate. It's a white, tasteless powder that looks remarkably unremarkable for something that has thousands of scientific studies backing its effectiveness. When you take creatine monohydrate, it gets absorbed into your bloodstream and then transported to your muscles, where it's stored as phosphocreatine. This phosphocreatine is what gets converted into immediate energy when your muscles need it. Now, let's talk about what creatine actually does for your performance. The primary benefit is increased power output during short, intensive activities. If you're doing weightlifting, sprinting, jumping, or any other activity that requires maximum effort for a brief period, creatine can help you perform slightly better. We're not talking about turning you into the Hulk overnight, but rather giving you the ability to squeeze out an extra rep or two, or maintain your power output for a few seconds longer than you normally could. This improvement in power output has a cascading effect on your training. If you can do 1 or 2 more reps with the same weight, or if you can maintain your sprint speed for a slightly longer distance, that adds up over time. More total work done in your training sessions typically leads to better adaptations, whether that's increased muscle size, strength, or power. It's like compound interest, but for your muscles. Creatine also helps with recovery between sets. When you finish a set of squats and you're breathing heavily, waiting to do your next set, your muscles are working to replenish their creatine stores. If you have more creatine available, this process happens even faster, potentially allowing you to maintain better performance across multiple sets. Some people notice they can recover more quickly between intense efforts when they're supplementing with creatine. But here's where things get interesting. Creatine doesn't just benefit your muscles. Your brain also uses creatine for energy, and recent research has started exploring whether creatine supplementation can improve cognitive function. Your brain is an incredibly energy-demanding organ, using about 20% of your body's total energy despite being only about 2% of your body weight. Just like your muscles, your brain sometimes needs quick bursts of energy, especially during mentally demanding tasks. Studies have found that creatine supplementation might improve performance on tasks that require rapid processing or working memory. Some research suggests that it could be particularly beneficial when you're sleep-deprived or mentally fatigued. Think of it like giving your brain extra backup batteries for when it needs to work extra hard. The research on cognitive benefits is still developing, but the early results are promising enough that scientists are taking it seriously. Now, let's address some of the myths and misconceptions that surround creatine, because there are plenty of them floating around. One of the most persistent myths is that creatine is dangerous for your kidneys. This fear likely stems from the fact that creatinine, a waste product that's created when creatine is broken down, is often used as a marker of kidney function. When you take creatine supplements, your creatinine levels naturally go up because, well, you're breaking down more creatine. Some people see elevated creatinine on a blood test and panic, thinking that their kidneys are failing. However, decades of research have constantly shown that creatine supplementation is safe for healthy individuals. Multiple long-term studies, some lasting several years, have found no evidence that creatine damages kidney function in people with healthy kidneys to begin with. The elevated creatinine levels are simply a normal consequence of having more creatine in your system, not a sign of kidney damage. That said, if you already have kidney problems, you should definitely talk to your doctor before taking any supplements, including creatine. Another common myth is that creatine causes dehydration and muscle cramps. This misconception probably arose because creatine helps your muscles store more water along with creatine. Some people noticed that they felt thirstier when they started taking creatine and jumped to the conclusion that it was dehydrating them. In reality, though, the opposite is true. Creatine helps your muscles hold onto more water, which is actually beneficial for muscle function and may even help prevent cramping. The increased thirst is just your body's way of telling you to drink more water to support the increased water storage in your muscles. There's also a myth that creatine only works for men or only works for certain type of athletes. The truth is that creatine can benefit anyone who engages in activities requiring short bursts of power regardless of gender or sport. Women respond to creatine supplementation just as well as men do. Whether you're a powerlifter, a soccer player, a basketball player, or just someone who wants to get more out of their gym sessions, creatine can potentially help. Some people believe that creatine is a steroid or that it's somehow artificial or unnatural. But as we discussed earlier, creatine is already present in your body and in many of the foods that you eat. Taking creatine supplements is more like taking a vitamin than taking a drug. It's simply providing your body with more of something it's already using naturally. Creatine is not a hormone. It doesn't affect your hormone levels, and it's not banned by any major sports organizations. There's also some confusion about how much creatine to take and when to take it. Many supplement companies recommend a loading phase, where you take large amounts of creatine for the first week to quickly saturate your muscles, followed by a smaller maintenance dose. While loading can help you see benefits faster, it's not necessary. You can achieve the same muscle saturation by taking a smaller dose consistently over a few weeks. Most research suggests that 3 to 5 grams per day is sufficient for most people. The timing of creatine intake is another area of confusion. Unlike some supplements that need to be timed precisely around your workouts, creatine doesn't need to be taken at any specific time. Since it works by gradually increasing the creatine stores in your muscles over time, what matters is consistent daily intake, not precise timing. You can take it with breakfast, after you work out, before bed, or whenever it's most convenient for you. One legitimate consideration, though, with creatine is that not everyone responds to it equally. About 20 to 30% of people are considered non-responders to creatine supplementation. These individuals typically already have naturally high creatine stores in their muscles, so additional supplementation doesn't provide much benefit. There's no way to know if you're a responder or non-responder without trying it first, but if you don't notice any improvements after several weeks of consistent use, then you might be in the non-responder category. The quality and form of creatine that you choose can also matter. Creatine monohydrate is by far the most researched form and has consistently shown benefits in studies. While supplement companies have created many fancy variations of creatine with claims of superior absorption or effectiveness, none have been able to show that they're significantly better than plain creatine monohydrate. These newer forms are often much more expensive without providing additional benefits, so stick with creatine monohydrate from a reputable company that tests their products for purity. Cost is another factor that makes creatine attractive as a supplement. Unlike many sports supplements that can cost $50 or more per month, creatine is remarkably inexpensive. A kilogram of creatine monohydrate can last you several months and typically costs less than $20. When you calculate the cost per serving, creatine is one of the most cost-effective supplements available, especially considering its strong research backing. It's worth noting that creatine supplementation isn't magic. It won't transform a couch potato into an elite athlete, and it won't make up for poor training, inadequate sleep, or terrible diets. The performance improvements from creatine are typically modest, usually in the range of 5 to 15% for activities that it actually benefits. But for people who are already training consistently and looking for small improvements that can add up over time, those modest gains can be meaningful. The research on creatine continues to evolve, with scientists exploring its potential benefits beyond just athletic performance. Some studies are investigating whether creatine might help with age-related muscle loss, recovering from injuries, or even certain neurological conditions. While these areas of research are still in early stages, they highlight that creatine's effects on cellular energy production might have broader applications than originally thought. So, let's recap this whole creatine adventure in simple terms. Creatine is like extra batteries for your muscles and brain that help you perform better during short, intense activities. Your body already makes it and uses it, but taking supplements can give you more than you'd naturally get. The scary stories about kidney damage and dehydration are myths that aren't supported by actual research. It's safe, it's cheap, and it's effective for most people, though not everyone will see dramatic results. It won't turn you into a superhero, but it might help you squeeze out a few extra reps or think a bit more clearly when you're tired. Now go forth and make an informed decision about whether those extra muscle batteries are right for you. Your future gains will thank you for actually understanding what you're putting in your body.